Jada Harden.
Jada Harden. Where are you from, Jada?
I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Reginald Parker Styles.
Okay. Well, where are you from?
Plano, Texas.
Okay. Bruce, can you start off with your name?
I'm Brooklyn Mosley.
So where are you from, Brooklyn?
I'm from Bloomington, Illinois.
Maisa Muhammad.
Thank you. Where are you from, Maisa?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
Darren G.
Where are you from, Darren?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
What is your name?
My name is Justin Baharu Ellers.
So where are you from, Justin?
Born in Ethiopia, but I moved here during elementary.
Here?
Yeah, I moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana,
Okay.
in elementary.
Indianapolis, do you feel like you are represented throughout your community? Do you see people who look like you, share the same attributes as you? Do you feel comfortable there?
Mm-hmm. In central Indiana, yes, but if you go further out, no.
Why do you say that?
Well, those are the more, white areas, the more racist areas like Martinsville and like places like that.
Okay. So what about here in at IU? Do you feel comfortable here?
I feel comfortable when I'm with my friends, like, you and all the other fry girls or like Hudson and Hallman people, but when I'm not with them, I do feel like I'm really uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable? So that kind of leads into my next question. Are there specific places that you go to on or off campus where you feel comfortable because of your race?
I feel comfortable going to Hudson and Hallman, here at the Mill Marshall, places like that, or back in my room with you guys. That's where I feel most comfortable.
Okay. Are there places on or off campus where you feel uncomfortable?
If I'm by myself across campus, like just me being a black person alone, then I don't feel comfortable because the majority here is white, and IU kind of has a past of being kind of racial sometimes. So.
What past are you referring to?
Like who said this? I went to like this little event, like a recruiting event for IU, like for like black students pretty much. And so one of the students had asked him, how being a minority on campus, anything ever happened to you? And he was like, yeah, one time walking from Kirkwood, somebody yelled the N-word out the window to him. So.
So, do you see yourself throughout your community here at IU?
Yes.
In what settings?
I'm sorry?
In what settings?
Definitely in the business settings, being a business student, being an African American student, there are a lot of African American students who are where I live in the KLLC, which is nice to see because we all come from kind of the same background, but we're all also still studying the same thing too.
Anything else throughout your community?
Oh, yeah, there's other black males throughout my community. In my family, obviously in my school. Not at church though. I go to Catholic church, that's pretty white.
So, do you see other people like yourself here at IU?
Yes, but it's not as apparent. The Caucasians here make up damn near like 80%, and it's only like 4 or 5% black people. It's like 75 to 80%, and like 4 to 5% of black people. So.
Okay.
Plus I'm on the north side campus.
True, that's true. So, throughout your community at home?
Yes.
How?
I see myself throughout my community. Like how I see myself in the community?
Yeah.
I see myself kind of as a servant of the community. I like to volunteer and help out just to make it a better place for everyone.
Okay. So, like, what about here at Indiana at IU?
Kind of I see myself just here, really.
Okay.
Not much as like a part. I think it's because like it's so brand new. Kind of still getting the feel of everything.
Okay. All right. So you describe yourself to be?
So yeah, see, I'm a unique, I feel like, black being here in America, because I'm Ethiopian, but then at the same time I'm African American, but then I was adopted by a white family. So that gives me a perspective on such a broad landscape of culture, race, and different groups. So I can almost bridge every single group that is here present in America. You have any-
So, do you feel like you see yourself, as in your race and your gender, through your community at home?
My community at home, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I live in an area with a lot of black people, so I always see somebody who looks like me, people with similar, practices and things like that.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, what about here at IU?
No, I do not. I see many other people. It's surprising because it's like IU isn't extremely diverse, but I do see a lot of like other types of people. Like I see a lot of Asian people, Indian people, black people every now and then,
Mm-hmm.
and it's primarily white. But yeah, I do not see a lot of people who look like me, black and female. I do not see that a lot.
I would say the 5th floor of Wells. I most definitely feel comfortable. Neil Marshall, I feel comfortable. Kind of other places where I'm the only real person of my race. So everywhere I look, it's no one that looks like me.
Okay. Are there specific places where you feel uncomfortable?
Hodge sometimes, because like it's like everyone that walks by is like truly either white or a different race than mine.
No, I feel comfortable almost anywhere I go, unless I'm literally the only black person there.
Okay. That's good, because that was my next question. Where do you feel uncomfortable? Are there any
Well, I
places?
mean, just like whenever I'm literally the only black person or the minority in like a situation, that usually only happens like at frat or sorority events, white frat or sorority events.
That's good.
So, are there specific places that you go to on or off campus where you feel comfortable because of your race?
Because of my race,
Yeah.
actually, I've always been a big fan of basketball. I've always loved playing basketball. And I feel like whenever I go to the WIC or go to a basketball game, I don't really even get to see race, really, or even gender or ethnicity or anything like that. It's just we're all one person trying to get one job across, and I always feel like that's more of my safe or comfort place.
So, are there places that you feel uncomfortable because of your race?
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when I'm around a lot of people of my race, I kind of feel out of place sometimes because I'm just not used to that really all the time. And then definitely times when I'm around a lot not of my race, where I'm just one of the only. So really, if it's a good mix, I feel comfortable. But if it's swinging one side either which way, I feel pretty uncomfortable sometimes. But I feel less uncomfortable around my own people.
Okay.
So, are there any specific places that you go to on or off campus where you feel comfortable because of your race?
Yeah, so specifically at the Wells Library on the 5th floor, it's usually a lot of other black people, and it's like a group. It's like a group study floor. So basically, like we be loud. We can talk to each other and have like fun experiences.
Are there places that you feel uncomfortable?
Places that I feel uncomfortable. Sometimes I feel uncomfortable like on my floor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not really friends with a lot of people on my floor. They just seem kind of off-putting, like standoffish sometimes. So that's fine though.
100%, honestly. Kelly's real supportive of minorities. They realize that they have a need for minorities to join their programs. And so there are a lot of support units that are available for those that are minority. And I really appreciate that, going to a school that recognizes us and then wants to support us to take us to the next level. Because a lot of these kids do already come from very successful families. And even though I'm literally from Ethiopia, so born in a hut and everything like that. So I don't have somebody guide me to navigate me through these dark waters.
Your race.
I feel like whenever I go to the gym, I always see a lot more diversity on the basketball court than I do in my classroom. I honestly don't feel that comfortable because the school I came from, I was always only minority kid on the soccer team, in most of my classes. So it just feels natural. I don't really see it, you know. And whenever I do have somebody in my classes that is a minority, then I let them know that I recognize that they're there.
Right.
I had a kid in one of my classes, business presentations. He's actually the only kid that's a minority in my Kelly classes, any of my Kelly classes. His name's Darren, Darren G. And he's a cool guy, you know. I let him know. I let him know that I see him, you know. We're gonna make it.
I'm gonna go through some questions about our campus's history, and I just want to see if you know, you don't know, maybe you'll learn something. So, you mentioned the WIC actually, so you do
Yes.
go to the WIC often.
Yes.
Okay, so are you familiar with the WIC and its history?
No.
So, just a little history for you there. Do you know who the WIC is named after?
The Wildermorf Intramural Center?
So, yeah, that's President, the former IU Board of Trustee President, Judge Ora L. Woldemuth. He said a few racial comments back in the day. The first thing that he said is that I am and shall always remain absolutely and utterly opposed to social intermingling of the colored race with the white. I belong to the white race and shall remain loyal to it. It always has been the dominant and leading race. So, how does that make you feel?
I mean, that doesn't really surprise me. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, and you've always been kind of told, like, outside of the city, it's going to be some people who have thoughts like that. And that's actually kind of alarming, too, because I've noticed when I walked in the WIC a couple months ago, I walked through the one closest to the IMU, the door closest to IMU, and I saw a swastika on the wall. And I sent a picture of that to my mom, because my mother went here, too, when it was called the Hyper. And I asked her, I said, was this here when you went here? She was like, yeah. So I guess it's just going to be a part of the history of Southern Indiana. So that doesn't really surprise me too much. Yeah. And I feel like there's probably definitely still some remnants of that today.
No, or do you go to the WIC on campus?
I don't. I do not.
You do not go to the WIC. So you're familiar with the WIC and its history.
Yes.
So how do you feel about that?
I feel like that a campus, a college that names a building after someone that's known to be racist kind of shows, I guess, their values and kind of that they don't care about what they think of African Americans. I think that says something a lot. Yeah.
If you know it or not. So do you know or do you go to the WIC here on campus?
The WIC?
Mm-hmm.
I do not.
Well, do you know about the WIC and its history?
I've heard something about like the founder is racist, so that's why the name is being changed or something.
Well, I'm going to lay down some facts. So, the WIC was actually named after former IU Board of Trustee President George Ora L. Woldermuth. He said, these are some of the things that he said, I am and shall always remain absolutely and utterly opposed to social intermingling of the colored race with the white. I belong to the white race and shall remain loyal to it. It always has been the dominant and leading race. How does that quote make you feel?
It made me feel like, fuck him, we'll see. But also, wow, I did not know that. That's crazy. That's actually insane.
I have another quote here. I'm not here to make you upset, but I just have one more. So few of them succeed. He wrote this to actually Herman B. Wells, what our library is named after. And the average of the race as to intelligence, economic status, and industry is so far below the white average that it seems to me futile to build up hope for a great future.
How does that make me go?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes me go like, I don't want to hear him talk anymore.
Okay. All right, well, I'll end it there. Do you know of or go to the WIC on campus?
The WIC, I've been there.
You've been there? To do what?
Work out. Meet with a professor.
Okay. So are you familiar with the WIC and its history?
No, I didn't know the WIC had history.
Do you, since you didn't know, so the WIC is actually named after former IU Board of Trustee President Judge Ora L. Woldermuth. I keep on saying his name wrong, but that's his name. And he apparently was a racist. So I'm going to read you something that he wrote in a couple letters. He said, I am and shall always remain absolutely and utterly opposed to social intermingling of the colored race with the white. I belong to the white race and shall remain loyal to it. It always has been the dominant and leading race. So how do you feel knowing that a building at your campus is named after someone who says something like that?
Well, it's a little weird, a little upsetting. But, I mean, what can I do?
I am and shall always remain absolutely and utterly opposed to social intermingling of colored race with the white. I belong to the white race and shall remain loyal to it. It always has been the dominant and leading race. So that kind of leads me to a KK.
Yes.
And what do you know about the KKK?
That they're racist as fuck. And
Specifically,
disrespectful.
specifically,
The lynchings, the hanging,
okay, well,
the white hoods. Yes.
in multiple places on this campus, are you familiar with this photo?
What are you about to tell me? Maya, you're making me heated.
This photo. Apparently there's controversy about it, but at the end of the day, I'm reading, like, rephrasing from what's said in Woodburn Hall, that these KKK rallies are a part of Indiana's history, and by ignoring it or trying to hide it is basically like not going to change anything. So how do you feel about that?
So are they trying to say, like, they're trying to be upfront about it, that it happened, and we're, like, ashamed of it, but we're gonna still promote that it did happen here, we can't, like, get rid of it? Are they saying like it's part of Indiana's culture?
They're saying that it's a part of history and we can't ignore it.
If that's the case, yes. But I feel like people looking at it and, like, not reading the context behind it, because, like, if I went there and saw it for the first time, I'd be like, yo, IU, like, what are you doing? Like, take this shit down right now. But with that context, I can understand why they would keep it up, just to show people, like, yeah, this did happen. We're not trying to hide from the fact that it occurred or anything like that. But
Okay.
yeah.
Shoot. You know, it's not really something that prevalent in my life, and I think it is in anybody's. It's just part of history. So it's not, I don't ever give them a second thought.
Are you familiar with these images?
What? That's here at IU?
Yeah, that's actually located in 3 places in IU.
Is that okay?
Justin,
No?
I became a last interviewer. Okay, well,
Sorry.
so that's located in Woodburn Hall, IU Auditorium, and the IU Cinema. So, just how did these images make you feel? This is actually the full mural, but those are close-ups of what's depicted.
I mean, from when I can't see the details, you know, it looks really nice. I'm like, wow, this person's talented. But, you know, I'm looking in the back, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. They really just snuck that in there. Somebody was real clever, you know?
I mean, the painting, the mural is called Parks, the Circus, the Klan, and the Press.
Oh. But look, there is a black girl in a hospital chair and she's getting taken care of. So, I don't know what that's all about. You know? Maybe it's half racist, half not, you know?
Well, it's actually, the artist believed that his murals needed to show all aspects of the state's history, even the ugly and comfortable parts, so we could confront the mistakes of the past.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that makes sense, you know? This was they were certainly a part of people's lives long back. I mean, not even that long ago. So I think it's important to recognize that and recognize what people had to live through and how that wasn't too long ago. And let's use that as a milestone to keep moving forward, you know? And then I personally think like that racism is not something you can, I don't think we'll ever be able to get past that. I'm gonna be honest with you. The only way I think we'll be able to get past that is if biology takes over and there's interracial marriage. And then I don't think anybody could be, you know, like, I think that's really, marriage is the solution. I think that's really gonna be the key to solving it. Because people are always gonna be comfortable with what looks like them, has the same cultural background. And then as humans, we got that little evilness in us that we want to just project the negatives about somebody else who isn't like us, And you can see that with people that are athletic and not athletic, people that are strong, not strong, people who are smart or not smart, people that are of this race, people that are of this race. You're always going to find individuals, as humans, we always want to find ways that we can niche ourselves higher than somebody else. Oh, I go to the Kelly School of Business. Where do you go? You go to IU Tech. I'm going to look down on you because I'm a business student at this school. You're at there. I mean, literally, our system runs through this, constantly chasing after almost the wind of trying to establish ourselves as being more dominant. And honestly, that's human nature, And it's kind of good, it's kind of bad. It's good that because it's competitiveness, and competitiveness honestly drives our economy. It's negative because then you get situations like racism. Well, I'm better than you, and now I'm going to make it known by doing this to you.
The KKK?
Yes.
And to you, what does the KKK mean?
What does the KKK mean? Ku Klux Klan.
Like, what are they about?
White supremacy.
So, are you familiar with these photos?
These photos? No, I ain't seen these photos before.
Never seen them? Well, those photos are actually photos of a mural. These are zoomed in pictures, but this is the full mural. It's located in 3 places at IU, the IU Auditorium, the IU Cinema, and Woodburn Hall. And it actually has a KKK rally going on in the background, and then it has like this odd photo of a black little girl surrounded by white people. And it's located around 3 places in campus. So like, what does that mean to you? Like, do you see this mural knowing that it's around campus? What is, like, are you feeling anything?
I mean, Martinsville just is like, what, 20, 30 minutes right up the way. So I'm not completely surprised. I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. So, I mean, I'm not, like, surprised. I'm not surprised, basically. I can see something like that being here.
Okay. I'm just going to give you a little bit about why that's around. This is called The Parks, the Circus, and the Klan in the Press. And the artist believed that his murals need to show all aspects of the state's history, even the ugly parts, so we could confront the mistakes of the past. So does that make you feel any differently about the photos that you see?
Well, no, because, I mean, as I said before, I wasn't, like, thinking, well, of course, I automatically thought a negative connotation because of, Ku Klux Klan and whatnot, but now that I hear the artist's message, I guess maybe I do see it a little differently. Now that he was seeing it as if, putting it there as if, like, we can face or any other can face its mistakes. And not as, like, it's not like a glorified one.
Okay. Are you familiar with the WIC and its history?
I'm really not, but educate me.
Okay, so the WIC is actually named after a former IU Board of Trustee President, Judge Ora L. Wildermuth. And he was said some racial things way back when. I'm just gonna say something that he wrote in a few letters. He said, "I am and shall always remain absolutely and utterly opposed to social intermingling of the colored race with the white. I belong to the white race and shall remain loyal to it. It always has been the dominant and leading race."
Wow. Well, shoot, next time I go to the WIC, I'm gonna let him know that I'm dominating his, you know, bop, hit him with the threes, you know what I'm saying? Just for that's crazy. So were minorities not allowed in the WIC?
No, it's just that is the person that the WIC is named after. Like there's a lot of places like Kelly named after that guy who does Steak and Shake and all that stuff.
That's crazy. No, I actually did not know that. You know, we should look at revoking his name.
Can you just describe what the KKK is?
KKK was a group of white people, I guess white males, that didn't want African Americans to live, and so they would go around, I guess, getting rid of African Americans in any way if they needed to.
Okay. So are you familiar with these pictures? Brighten the screen so you can see a little bit better.
I am not.
Okay, so actually these pictures are found in the IU Auditorium, it's found in Woodburn Hall, and IU Cinema. And what these pictures depict is actually the mural, the parks, the circus, the Klan, the press. It's a mural that was brought here like way back when, and it's basically still up because the artist says that it's important to show Indiana's history, the good and the bad. Do you feel comfortable with this mural being at your school?
I understand that they want to show the history, the good and the bad. I understand that part, but at the end of the day, you're depicting something that is such a negative past of a lot of the students on this campus, where at the end of the day, I mean, like, as long as they explain, like, I think that they should explain, like, saying why they want it here, rather than just putting it up and just having it out there.
Yes.
Why do you laugh?
It's definitely segregated, and it's not bad because I don't think it's bad at all that it's not segregated the way that you think it's segregated. It's segregated. It's a white hate group, not only towards black people but also towards Christians, Jews, any other type of minority. It's really just about the white Aryan race and making sure that they believe that they're the best.
Okay. So these are a few pictures. Are you familiar or have you seen any of these pictures before?
The two bottom pictures, they're in the right dining hall, right?
Yeah, do you seen them in the right dining hall?
I've seen, yeah, the two bottom ones for sure. I don't know about the top one.
Okay. Well, I didn't know it was in the right dining hall. The first time I seen this photo was actually in Woodburn Hall before my accounting final, or midterm. There's actually one in the Woodburn Hall, IU Auditorium, and IU Cinema, and it's called The Parks, the Circus, the Klan, and the Press. And these pictures are depicting a Klan rally, and then a picture that's kind of a little odd with a black child being in a hospital bed with white people around them. So how does that picture make you feel knowing that it's around campus and it's a part of the mural?
It don't make me feel any different if I'm being honest. Like, I've grown up around this, I've been around this. You can't really place that upon people of this time, but there's, like I said, there's still gonna be remnants of that. Like, people can still think the same way, but they weren't the ones who constructed it. I think there is an issue that it's still there. But if you bring that up, they're going to talk about it's going to be history. But I feel like we can make a change with that, such as back in South Carolina, where they got rid of the statues that were for the Confederate general. I feel like we can make a change about that, but I don't think that students are really educating themselves about this like you have. So I feel like we need to educate the students more about that.
Okay. Thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what do you know about the KKK?
I know about the KKK that like they were started. Obviously, they're like a white supremacist group and like lynched and terrorized black people back in the day. I know that there are some areas where they are active today still.
Okay. Making sure it's still recording. Okay, cool. So, wow, there's actually a mural. Are you familiar with this mural? Have you seen this around campus?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, that picture actually depicts a KKK rally if you see the zoom in. And it's located in 3 places around campus: Woodburn Hall, the IU Auditorium, and the IU Cinema. And before I tell you what this mural is about, how does this just make you feel?
The top one, I really cannot tell what the top one is.
The top one is a full mural.
Oh, got you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I don't know. It looks very strange. It looks very strange. They have like a black girl in a hospital bed, and then workers around her, and somebody is like on fire in the background. I don't know. Or like fire in a pitchfork, and then people in white hoods. I don't know.
So this is actually this painting is called "The Parks, the Circus, the Klan, and the Press." And the artist believed that his mural was needed to show all aspects of the state's history, even the ugly and just like, the ones that make us uncomfortable parts, so we could confront the mistakes of the past. So they have explained this. This was much of a bigger deal last year, but since you're being a freshman, I'm bringing this back up. So like, how now hearing that part, how does that make you feel?
I really still don't like this. I feel like we know our history, and I feel like I really still don't like this. I feel like we know our history, and we don't necessarily need to be reminded of it with a racist mural. I feel like we can know history and acknowledge it without having to see that every day, because the existence of organizations like this are like in direct opposition to our students, and so Black people, to other people of color on campus. And I feel like it's disrespectful and inconsiderate.
Thank you. All right. I'm really segregated.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate?
What?
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, just earlier today I was talking about Mike in the library. He said like the 4th floor is where all the Black people hang out, and then the 5th floor is for the Black people. And then outside of that, I mean, where have I seen it? I mean,
You just feel it.
yeah.
That's fine. So, do you think that the segregation is inflicted by the majority on campus, this case being white, or reinforced by the minority, this case? Both?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I mean, when you're Black, you're gonna want to separate yourself and hang around with other people that look like you, because you don't see a lot of people like you around at the school. And then like that goes for like a lot of minorities. And then like when you're white, you're gonna, of course you're gonna want to hang around other white people. I feel like everybody likes to, like at some point, retreat back into either their racial group or social group. So that's why.
I would say maybe yes. I feel like maybe all campuses that aren't like HBCUs are segregated in some type of way.
So, do you think that this segregation is inflicted by the majority, in this case being white, or reinforced by the minority, in this case being Black?
Could you repeat that?
Yeah. Do you feel that this segregation on campus is inflicted by the majority, in this case being white, or reinforced by the minority, in this case being Black?
I feel like it's both. It's both inflicted by the majority as well as reinforced by the minority. It goes both ways, I feel.
Okay.
I don't think so, but I kind of see it. It's just what you choose. Again, in high school, people do go deviate toward what look like them and what's comfortable. And that's just always going to be human nature. If somebody's 60 years old and somebody is 19, looks like you, we're going to deviate toward that. And that's just because of the age difference. If somebody's Black and somebody's white, you're going to deviate toward somebody who looks like you. That's just where, as humans, where it's in our innate desire to be with our members that we see as being in the same group as us. And I think it's an issue, and I don't think it's an issue.
Okay. So, like, you would say more that it's reinforced by the minority rather than inflicted by the majority.
Yes, I think just people tend to go to who they're comfortable with, and minorities do that with each other, and the majority do that with each other, and it just through individuals wanting to get out of their comfort zone, and we see that a lot. I don't think there is a division really see it.
Yes.
Why do you feel that way?
I guess in my experience, I guess for me, I 100% only hang out with like people of my race. There's when you think of parties, there's B-town parties, and then like there's the black parties where there's usually like one or two people that like will go to the other one, but like there's never really a mix. Like there's 100% like a very, very like defined split between each race.
And do you think that the segregation is inflicted by the majority on this campus, who will be white students, or reinforced by the minority, which in this case would be black students?
I want to say reinforced. Well, I kind of want to say a mix of both, because I think it's a reinforcement for minorities, because kind of finding a community of people that look like you, that kind of have the same values as you, kind of just a familiar face kind of to have. But also I think it's kind of on the other part that like they're used to hanging out with their race too. So I guess I could see it on both sides. Yeah.
In that we see those who are like us and you want to be with them. Like I've noticed, I've got friends who are Indians, and I've noticed that they all get together within themselves because they find a sense of community in that. I don't think it's bad, but I think that we do still need to get out and reach out to different people more often. But it's not a bad thing that we're finding who we're comfortable with, because we're in a time of finding ourselves. So we need to find our community first.
Very good.
Okay.
Is in some way segregated?
Yeah.
So do you feel like the segregation is inflicted by the majority, white people, or do you think that it's reinforced and wanted by the minority, in this case black people?
I would say it's inflicted by the majority, in my opinion, because like they'll talk about diversity and all that, and I feel like the majority doesn't really care, because for two instances, because for the KLC class, you know, the whole like diversity, kind of like diversity thing, learning more about people's like, you know, what they go through. Particularly in my class, like nobody participated in that, so it was like really like kind of like waste of time, of course. And then for Halloween on our floor meeting, we were talking about cultural appropriation, and there was a student on my floor who was making fun of it. And so it's like, I feel like with these like whole like diversity things, learning about culture, they essentially don't care, because you know the majority is here, so it's like why give a fuck about the minority here, pretty much.
Right. There are any similarities, okay? So again, you identify as a black straight woman, right? Okay. As a black woman, I am strong and independent.
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Why do I say that? I feel like that's how I've been my whole life, and I feel like that's how my parents have taught me to be. I could have been dependent on them, but just me and my character, my personality, like I feel comfortable being independent and relying on myself as opposed to other people, because other people can not come through for you, other people can disappoint you, but if it's you, then you're like the only person you can hold accountable.
Okay. As a black woman, do you identify as a black woman? Okay. I am strong and independent.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes.
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because at the end of the day, I go through a lot of adversity, a lot of challenges. A lot of people kind of don't want to see me succeed, but I'm still here. I'm in college. A lot of people didn't even think I'd get here. So I'm kind of going through these steps no matter like how much I fail, no matter all the struggles I face. Like, keep getting up and keep doing it again.
And I am strong and independent.
Yes.
Why?
Because I have confidence within myself, and I know what I stand by, and nobody can change that.
Okay. As a black woman, I seek a man who is also strong and independent.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because if I'm strong, I don't need like a weak-minded man clinging on to me. Like, get your shit together. You got this. You know, we got it. We in this together. Let's get it.
Okay. As a black woman, I seek a man who is also strong and independent.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Why did you say I guess?
I mean, I don't know. I want someone that's strong in their beliefs and everything. Yeah, I mean, yes. I want someone that's strong in their beliefs, strong in their values. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Why is that?
Because if I'm independent and you're dependent, I feel like that would be a kind of not a good relationship for me. I know some people don't care about like gender roles, but for me in like my relationship, I would want my husband, my man, to be independent as well as me.
As a black woman, I have to be careful with my sexuality and provocative nature.
Yes.
Why?
I would say
Take your time.
I would say like as a woman in general, you have to be careful because obviously there's like rape happens and obviously like as you can see in the media and everything of what's happening, a lot of times like you're not believed no matter what. So you have to be careful 100% no matter like if you think you should be able to wear whatever you want at the end of the day.
Very.
Why?
Well, because it all takes back to like, you know, dress code in like high school, elementary school, like whatever. Like I would wear a pair of shorts. Of course, it's a problem. With white girl with a pair of shorts, it's not a problem. You know, if it's too low cut, I'm trying to be sexual. You know, just having the whole nature of what black girls always having like big boobs, like a big ass. So be careful with that.
So with that being said, as a black woman, I have to be careful with my sexuality and provocative nature.
Okay, I would say as a black woman of like, I wouldn't say I'm heavier, but like I maybe have like more curves. So maybe sometimes I do have to be like careful with what I wear or like how I am around people of the opposite sex because, you know, that's my sexuality or whatever. I don't think it's anything that's like that I'm always conscious of, but maybe it's like subconsciously, like maybe in the back of my head, but it's not always like at the forefront, something that is on my mind a lot.
I feel I am not represented in media.
Yeah, I largely agree with this. I feel like there has been a kind of new wave of like black girls being in movies that they're trying to do, like, you know, Zendaya, Amanda Stenberg, I forget the other one's name, but like I feel like those are light-skinned mixed women. And while they are black women, mixed women are black women, I would like to see more like fully black women.
As a black woman, I feel I am not represented in media.
No, I'm not.
Why do you say that?
Because there's always this like stereotype that, you know, like with reality TV, that black girls are like always loud, ghetto, you know, always have problems, like never, you know, just able to have like a normal conversation. Like there's like Michelle Obama, Oprah, but when there's like a chance to like bring down black people, that's what's more presented and pushed to the front rather than those kind of women.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can you give me some examples and like why you feel you're not represented?
So I would say like first thing I think of is like TV shows and movies. A lot of TV shows, a lot of movies are white main characters, white women, white men, really. You know, like I guess now like you're kind of seeing it kind of starting to grow a little bit, but like growing up, literally like all I would see was white women, white little girls, like on Disney Channel and everything. That's what I grew up with. That's all I saw really, with like the exception of like 2 shows really.
As a black woman, I feel I have to work hard to be desired.
Yes.
Why?
Well, recently, like, there's this like whole thing about, you know, even like our like black guys talking about how they don't want to date a black girl, and like coming here and seeing athletes desire white girls because they're less problematic and they're easier to get. It's kind of like when your own race doesn't want you, it's like, well, fuck, like, who's gonna love you?
Black woman, I feel I have to work hard to be desired.
In what sense?
Sense.
Okay, yes, I do.
Yes. Why?
So I guess the first thing I thought of was like in the business world. First of all, because I'm black, like I actually had an interview and they asked me if I wanted to be video or phone. So I asked my mom, I was like, what should I do? And my mom was like, first thing she said was, well, if you do video, they'll know that you're black. And so like in that sense, I kind of have to work harder to like, yeah, I'm black, but I'm better at this in that sense. So I would say 100%.
As a black woman, I feel I have to work hard to be desired.
I feel I have to work hard. I don't have to work hard to be desired by black men.
Okay.
Maybe other type of men, but I'm not working hard for them because I'm not attracted to other types of men.
Why do you even bring up other types of men? I'm curious.
What do you mean?
Like you said, not by black men, but you said by other types of men. But
Well, okay, maybe because my whole life I've grown up in like black areas, so I've never had like an experience where like I've liked somebody outside of my race, so I wouldn't know how that dynamic or relationship would be. So I'm just saying, for me personally, like I don't have to work to get the type of men that I like to like me back.
mm-hmm. As a black man, I pursue women outside of my race.
Yes.
Okay. Can you say why, or not why? I don't want to go too deep into it, but can you just say what you're feeling when I say that statement?
So as I've said, I've always been raised not just around black people, I've been raised around all people.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, like I've just grown up being attracted to all different types of females.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always said that about myself, like I don't just make myself like one type of race because that's my race.
Mm-hmm.
I love black women, but I love women in general, so yeah.
I pursue women outside of my race.
Yeah, I mean, I just got out of a 9-month relationship with a Caucasian model. And she was really pretty, really cool. I met her at my church. We had a really dope relationship. And it was really cool. She visited me a lot. I visited her a lot. We got each other nice things. Yesterday was her birthday. You know, I'm gonna get her something really nice, even though I'm not dating her. I've been talking with an Indian girl. You know, prior to that, I've been talking to a mixed girl. Prior to that, Mexican girl. You know, a couple more though.
As a black man, I pursue women outside of my race.
Yes. Why does this question always come up?
Why?
What?
Not why, but like I don't want to get too deep into it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Emily?
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna end up marrying who I marry, no matter her skin color, no matter her race. It's whoever I fall in love with.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Well, because, in the past, when I've been stopped by police officers because I was doing something wrong and I was going to get in trouble, such as speeding and whatnot. But, like, if it was just a routine stop, maybe not as much, because I feel like I'm a pretty, cooperative person. So, hopefully, I can live with my life. Not really, to be real, because I'm gonna treat them with respect, you know, and I think they're gonna see that, they're gonna notice it, and they're gonna treat me with respect. But it's not really an issue, I don't think.
As a black man, I am afraid when I am pulled over or stopped by a police officer.
I've actually never been pulled over, but I definitely have the fear of being pulled over by a police officer. And that's not right. I really feel sad when I think about it, because when I first got my license, I had to sit down and listen to my mom talk about that and talk about what to do. And I just felt sad because I was like, it shouldn't really be this way. Like, it shouldn't be a burden for my mom letting me enter into the world. In a world of freedom, it should not be her being terrified every time I put my keys into my ignition. And I just don't feel like that's right. I feel like, I just don't feel like that's right for her.
You can continue if you want.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. I feel like you need to have control. You need to be able to put your foot down. You can't just let people walk over you, that's for sure. But you also need to just I feel like I've always believed in, if you put in the work, you'll get what is supposed to come to you. So you can't really stress too much about it. So I feel like you definitely need to have control of some things, but some things will just happen naturally. So, yeah.
I mean, for me, it'd be not necessarily power, more like independence. I feel like that's necessary in my life.
I mean, over myself, if somebody else is gonna be in control of me, that's not the move right there. It's not gonna work out. But yeah, yes and no. Ultimately, so that's where I like to live. Just give it to him and then go from there.
As a Black man, I feel that I need to have power in my relationships.
I would say, if you describe power as dominance, no, because relationships are a two-way street. But I don't know. I can't really answer that question, but I would definitely say no, you don't need dominance because it's not a dominion over another, it's a union. So, yeah.
Yes and no. I mean, a relationship should work 50-50. You give a little, you take a little, so maybe a little bit.
As a Black man, I feel that I am somewhat powerless in society.
Can you restate the question?
As a Black man, I feel that I lack power in society.
To an extent, yes. I feel like definitely because you can make the right decisions your whole life, and just by the way that the system is set up, you can make one mistake and it's over like that. And that's not the same way for our white counterparts, and I feel like, yeah, we are lacking power in that type of sense. So yes, and to a certain extent, yes.
Yes and no. I mean, a relationship should work 50-50. You give a little, you take a little, so maybe a little bit.
And this is the last general statement. As a Black man, I feel that I am somewhat powerless in society.
I've never felt powerless. No, I've never felt powerless in society. Well, powerless as in like making a really big change? Like, what do you mean? Because earlier I did say, what can I do when it comes to the wilderness being named after old racist dude? But like, I mean, in that aspect, I do feel a little powerless. But like, when it comes to just like society in general and like the way people view me, I never feel powerless.